I mean, this answer could be debatable. You could have a very successful PhD in one paper as well, or you can write 5 or 6. Then new tools are still coming. Next year something else will be there. New models are there. So people keep on trying those things to apply to their science. So
last year, the Supernova SN 2023 IXF made headlines.
It kind of was not an ordinary supernova. It challenged our understanding.
What's your supernova movement in research?
I think I'm still waiting for that moment, but
I hope that is not a decadal for your case.
Nova or supernova, I would name it after my parents because those are like brightest thing in my world. Starlings, all those things, the astronomy is getting ruined. So it would be better if we can go to the moon. See, the good part of memes is you don't remember it.
I didn't remember the Pablo Escobar meme, so I was imagining the one where he stands outside the White House. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of DOOT Student Podcast. I am Neeraj, your host for the day, and in this episode, we are thrilled to have Rishabh Singh Teja with us as our guest. Rishabh comes from a small village in Sambhal district of Western Uttar Pradesh. He spent most of his schooling years in nearby city of Amroha. From 2014 to 2019, Rishabh lived in New Delhi, where he completed his undergraduate degree in physics honors from Ramjas College, University of Delhi, and then his master's degree from Hansraj College, University of Delhi. In 2019, he joined IIA as a PhD student and is currently working as a postdoctoral researcher. His research focuses on transient astronomy, specifically the aftermath of massive stellar deaths or supernovae. Beyond his impressive academic journey, Rishabh has also made remarkable contribution to DOOT. As the former chief editor, his leadership brought significant growth to the magazine, delivering insightful and engaging content to its reader. His dedication, vision have left a lasting impact on the team and the magazine's legacy. It's truly a pleasure to have you here today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Neeraj, for this brief introduction. So I am very glad to be here, to be part of this beautiful series of podcast. And I must really commend the DOOT team, especially Ravina and Shipra, for materializing this concept. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you are most welcome. With such an inspiring journey and impressive accomplishments, I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more from you. Rishabh, now let's dive into the questions.
Sure.
As you are the chief editor of DOOT, my first question will be based on that. Can you share your journey with DOOT during your time as chief editor? And as a PhD student with so many responsibilities, how did you manage to balance it all and excel in both the roles?
Yeah, with DOOT, I think I'm fortunate that I have been a part of this journey. And I still remember before COVID. So Sandeep came to me, like the founding chief editor, that would you like to be a part of this amazing thing they were doing? And I was very glad. Then we moved to our homes, like this COVID wave happened, and all things like they eventually happened online. So I have been a part of like many teams in DOOT earlier, designing, giving significant inputs, led few teams, and then as a co-chief editor with Vishnu, then eventually like I became the chief editor. And I would say this journey has been amazing, and I had learned so much from this, got into various roles. And then I would say the as a chief editor, like I would say I had a very good team. You were there, like Shipra and many other leads were there. And I would say my work, which has been like mostly absorbed by the team. So it has been a team initiative. For me, it's mostly like a managerial thing. But the team, what had done, like whatever challenges were thrown to them, they did it like very successfully. And as you say, like being in PhD with so many responsibility, I would say that in PhD we just have like one responsibility to work, but other things like come as branches. So I would say you have to just manage your time, and it's just like you don't need to do it like 24/7. So it's like you are doing co-curricular things and all these things, and you are not just giving your time to it, you are earning from this as well.
That's a nice message to everyone, and I know that you are proud of the team, and we are also very glad to have you. Your journey is truly inspiring. From a small village in Uttar Pradesh to Delhi for college and now Bengaluru for your PhD. How has this transition, in terms of places you have lived, shaped your lifestyle and perspective?
So I would say like I don't inspire much people, but as you say like this transition, and I'm still transitioning. Like I moved back to my village like in a couple of months, then to metropolitan cities. So it's been like a transition back and forth kind of thing. And I think this is the beauty of India. Wherever you go, especially in like metro cities, you don't feel like you're away from home. You get like same kind of people, that similar environment. People are so nice, so they accept you. So everywhere I have went, like whether it was Delhi or this Bangalore or other cities I have visited, I never felt like I was away from home. So this transition, I would say, was very smooth. And in terms of like you said lifestyle or perspective, but I would say in today's world, what like in globalized thing, everyone has access to all the things. So lifestyle is a kind of thing, you can have any kind of lifestyle whether you are in a village or a very big city. So that hasn't changed much, I would say. And in terms of perspective, yeah, perspective which has changed a lot. When you are like in a small town or city, you are in a smaller bubble. But when you move to a big city, it's still a bubble, but it's a bigger bubble. So you get a like wider perspective. You think widely, you accept lot of things where earlier you might be used to get angry on those things. And I think you become more humble as you move to bigger and bigger places.
That is well said. I agree. So last year, the Supernova SN 2023 IXF made headlines and captured a lot of attention. What was the reason behind all this excitement, and how does it relate to your work on supernovae?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question. So first let me tell you what a supernova is. So we see this night sky which is so static, but when we look into details, so we see that there are like tons of transients, and the nature of this universe is transitory. But in humans life scale, we would say that most of the things are kind of static, whether it's galactic evolution or all those things. So for supernova, these things vary at the time scale of even hours or minutes. So it's kind of, you see these stars are there, so they also have a life cycle. So they also eventually die. So when they die, so they give a whole burst of energy. Sometimes it outshines a whole galaxy, that we see as a supernova. Nova means like a new star which is appearing in the sky, and supernova is with tremendous energy. So that is a supernova. So for this event, I would say like every observatory or facility in the world kind of followed it. Whether it was Kamiokande or in gravitational waves, like almost everyone followed it. The reason being it was a very nearby supernova, and it was named as a decadal supernova, like happened in a decade kind of thing. Like supernova, we get these events like daily, maybe tens or maybe more than that. But the nearby ones, those are very rare. And it kind of was not an ordinary supernova. It challenged our understanding, especially the initial part where the light curve changes. What we thought of earlier, all things were broken by this. So we had to remodel things. We had to do, we had to understand it in a better way to, for like whether it was spectral wise or light curve wise. So it challenged that kind of understanding for us. And how it relates to my work. So as you know that supernova, they come in like different types, and I work in a very specific category of rare supernova. It's like type 2 class with have short plateau. And guess what what it turned out to be, this supernova was also turned out to be from that class, and I think I was lucky or fortunate that it turned out to be so, and that's why it's associated with my work as well.
Okay.
And if you check like even in ADS, the response was that much high that still papers are coming, people are still following, we are still following, and almost more than 100 entries are there.
Thank you, Rishabh. That was a very nice answer, and many of our young audience might be interested in that. Now, let's switch gears and have a little fun with rapid fire round. You will have to be quick with your answers. Ready? Okay, let's
Yeah, how
start.
quick?
So, if your thesis were a sport, which one would it be?
So I mean, I like so many sports, I try to learn new things. So I would say I wouldn't categorize into one sport, but whole PhD journey is kind of sport, and thesis you can say is the final of that. Whether you lose or win, it's like you are in the final, eventually you will get through. So it's the final part of any sport.
If you could name a comet or nova or a supernova, what would you call it?
So maybe for Nova or Supernova, I would name it after my parents, because those are like brightest thing in my world. And Comet maybe my future child.
Okay. What's your supernova movement in research?
So do everyone have like supernova moments?
That I don't know. You might have one to share.
So I think I'm still waiting for that moment. But in research journey, I would say when I got the call letter from IIA that you have been selected, that time I was very elated. But afterwards, it felt like very normal to me.
I hope that is not a decadal for your case. You might get
Yeah.
it early. Okay. And what's your go-to source of motivation during tough times?
I rarely go through tough times, what I have seen in my life, but I think it's my parents whenever I talk to them. So I get that kind of solace, those things, whether whatever low I am feeling. I mean, you can talk to your friends, but that is kind of temporary kind of thing. But eventually, if you get it, some kind of solace from your parents, I mean, that is top level.
That's very sweet. If you could collaborate with any scientist, researcher, past or present, who would it be?
Tough one to answer. I mean, in present, there are so many scientists who are doing great work. I think I would like to go in the past, maybe Aryabhatta, because I mean at that time what they were thinking, discovering so many new things with lack of resources, all those things. Today's science, I think, mostly framed by war, all those things, necessities. But that time, I don't know why they were doing science, all those things. So it would be interesting to see.
If you had an unlimited research budget, what project would you pursue?
I think instead of budget, it should be more human resources. But when you say like unlimited budget, so recently I was reading this new ASI symposia they're starting. So I saw that they are doing some kind of astronomy from moon. I mean, in initial stage, I would say a big telescope from the moon. And you say with these starlings, all those things, the astronomy is getting ruined. So it would be better if we can go to the moon.
Yeah. And what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day of research?
So I think most of them will agree. Like you have your dinner and again go for the research until you get exhausted. But I like to relax, like for the kind of me time. Like I like to be alone, chatting with friends, those things. Whoever you feel close to, you talk with them. That kind of.
And if you weren't doing PhD, which career path would you have chosen?
I don't think still I have made a career in this, but maybe civil services I would have joined if I would not. I wouldn't have done the masters. That changed my perspective a whole lot when coming to masters.
So, not just fun, but that was also an interesting rapid fire round. Now, let's get back to business and talk about some serious stuff. Don't worry, we'll keep it easy.
Yeah.
Let's kick things with a topic that I'm sure is on the mind of our many of our young listener, PhD students,
Hopefully.
research papers.
Oh,
So, Rishabh, what roles do research papers play in PhD students' life? How many papers does one typically need to successfully complete a PhD, or does it not really depend on the numbers? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I haven't completed mine yet, so I don't think I'm at that point. But if you say like, how does the paper matters, or in that way, I mean, whatever you are doing in research, you are doing for sake of yourself as well, but for a wider community. So you want to convey your message, what results you got, and what did you do. So for that sense, papers are necessary. But for PhD, I mean, there are rules for universities where you require one paper, but that doesn't mean that you can have 5 or 10 papers. It is like up to individuals and what kind of research they are doing. I mean, this answer could be debatable, but that is totally up to the individual. So you could have a very successful PhD in one paper as well, or you can write 5 or 6, then still you can say. But for PhD, I mean, writing a paper, it gives you a platform. It opens up the a larger community to you. So people are looking up to you for the science and all those things. Even if you don't want to publish, like you can just put it on archive. If it is a good research, people will still appreciate. So that is there. But I would say that there is no com- compulsion like you can have like you should have multiple papers or like that. Whatever you are doing, you should be satisfied in that, whatever research you are doing. And if you feel like you have got the result, then you publish it. But it should not be the pressure like you are publishing garbage or those things just for the sake of papers. So that shouldn't be there.
All right, now that we have covered that part, let's zoom out a bit. The PhD journey is definitely a roller coaster ride, and balance can be tough. Speaking of which, I would like to ask for some advice that could really help our audience. Maintaining a healthy work life balance during a PhD can be challenging. You have managed to stay active in sports. How do you feel sports contribute to keeping that balance, and how do they help you to stay focused, energized throughout your journey?
Indeed, like PhD is a very long journey, and you can have moments of frustration, anger, or whatever you say. There could be a multi wavelength kind of emotions you can have in this. So it is necessary to being healthy mentally as well as physically. So you can take up any sports, or you can go for a walk, running, all those things. You are like physically active, so that gives you a both mental and physical fitness kind of thing. But eventually you have to have some kind of emotional outlet as well. So for me, I would say, not just here but in the past as well, sports has acted like a emotional outlet for me. Whether it is frustration or anger, you can just go at it at the sport and do whatever you want to do in the field, and then come back, relax, and focus on your work. So some people they don't know, like how to play any kind of sport. Like they are hesitant to go into that. So I would say, when you come to a PhD, so then also you don't know about much of the things. You are still learning. So I would say people should take up a sport, like any kind of sport or any kind of habit, like whether it's dancing or whatever, to keep you like mentally and physically in sync with that. So it's never like too late to take up new things, to learn new things, whether it's your PhD or any sports. I mean, I never knew like how to play table tennis, but I learned here that kind of thing. And I am actively involved in like whatever sports are there, whatever opportunity I'm getting. So I want to get there in that sense.
I feel that's a very nice carry home message that it's never late to pick up any
Yeah.
sports.
It's never late to pick up anything. I mean, even in research, what people were doing decades ago, new tools have come, new tools are still coming. Next year, something else will be there, new models are there. So, people keep on trying those things to apply to their science. So, it's always good to have something like challenging or like that to take up and do something in that.
So, before we wrap our general questions, I would love to hear about your experiences abroad. You have had the opportunity to visit different countries for conferences, collaborations. How was that experience, and which places did you get to explore?
So, it was really amazing to went out to meet with different types of people, to know about their thought process, what do they think, and what is like their work culture, how do they approach their work. And it was like really great talking with different people from different countries. So I have been to like maybe 2 3 countries. So there you find that how seriously they consider their work, and how actively they are engaged in different things as well. So they respect you, they respect your work as well, and do it like in a very, I would say, a business kind of way, where we are doing it like mostly in like personal kind of thing for the sake of we are doing, but it's like a business for them. People have been engaged in research for decades, and they are continuing on these things. So even like if you are adding 2 3 lines into the literature from your side, so that is kind of an achievement, and that kind of things goes on at the foreign thing. So I met different people to explored their cultures, different kinds of foods, all those things, and whatever time I could get, like I explored so many things. But I don't say like I can't list like that, but yeah, whenever you go out, you must explore like whatever you can.
Do you have any favorite city of yours which you have visited,
Favorite city,
or maybe the one you like the most?
maybe Dublin when I was in Ireland.
All right, Rishabh, we have covered some serious ground: research papers, balance, international adventures. But let's spice things up a little.
Oh yeah.
Time to lighten the mood with some fun and quirky questions. Let's see how you do with these.
How did I do now
It's
till now?
very well. If you could have a pet named after a scientific term, what would you call it?
I don't like pets much, but maybe Milky Way or Andromeda, something like that.
Okay. If you could swap places with any scientist for a day, who would it be?
Maybe Nikola Tesla. Maybe I would like
Okay.
to know his working of mind, like what it.
If you had to give your thesis a movie genre, what it would it be? Action, horror, romance, or comedy?
No, horror, I wouldn't say. It would be like disrespect to the guides and all the work I've done. Comedy, no, you will get bored if you read it too much. Romance, I don't think so. It lasted for so long, which
It
it
involves.
doesn't in my case. But I think it will be action. So you see, like explosion happening in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
thesis, all those things. It would be most apt at action. And somewhere romance in between, maybe.
Yeah. I felt that since it involves deaths of stars, I don't know if it's romance. Okay, so moving on. What's the most ridiculous thing you have Googled for your research?
I do very bad Google searches, but for PhD journey, I don't think I have Googled that the thing.
No, maybe it could be as trivial as you wouldn't thought that you would have to search.
Maybe how to place which author where in the papers. Maybe like
Okay.
that.
If you had a time machine, what scientific event would you travel to?
For time machine. So this time travel prohibits going into past. So
Some
maybe
fancy time machine we might have.
maybe I'll go into the future someday when all particles of this standard model are found and maybe to that event.
Okay. If your PhD journey were a meme, what would it be?
See, the good part of memes is you don't remember it. It's like you have been like we are flooded by memes day and night, and it keeps on changing according to the situation. But the one thing, if I could think of, maybe so this Pablo Escobar sitting and waiting for things, because PhD journey is mostly waiting. Sometimes you wait for the report, sometime for something. I'm still waiting for my thesis report. So I would say Pablo Escobar sitting on a something. What do you say that people sit there and just waiting for the things alone?
I didn't remember the Pablo Escobar meme, so I was imagining the one where he stands outside the White House. So yeah,
That's the beauty of it. I mean, you don't remember memes that
yeah.
much.
Okay.
I mean, if you, even people scroll so much these days, and if you ask someone that what was the second last reel you saw, you won't be able to answer what it was.
That brings us to the end of this fun, insightful episode with Rishabh. From his incredible journey as the chief editor of DOOT to his fascinating research of supernovae, it's been truly inspiring to hear this story. Rishabh, thank you so much for taking your time to share your journey, wisdom, and some laughs with us today. To our wonderful listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all our upcoming podcasts. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring the wonders of the world around you. Thank you.